Religion of One asserts that our vocation, what we do for a living, what we do for money, is of paramount importance on a spiritual level. This flies in stark contrast to many religions of the world and most of the major organized ones that are very dismissive of this idea. For some background, there are many reasons for this. First and foremost, originally, there was no difference between the reigning religion of the day and the state. So the state has a set number of prescribed vocations that it needs. The state may impose a lot of moral, legalistic value on working hard and suffering because the state, and ergo the state religion, needs to extort and siphon tax money off of people. So that's one reason why things like entrepreneurship, for example, if you live in a very rigid social system, typically speaking, you see the leaders of big businesses, this is true even in the modern world today, become crony capitalists. They embed themselves in the state so that this, if they're operating purely on free market principles, then that's fine. But typically they tend to align themselves with the apparatus of big government so that they can protect their businesses and prevent competition from entering, or even in some ways they leverage the force of the state to guarantee customers for themselves and things like that. So religions tend to deal with this concept of vocation by being very dismissive of it. On the more Western side or the Judeo-Christian side, either a lot of false value is placed on suffering, that hard working, for example, working hard can be all well and good if it's what you love to do. But all too many times I hear people bragging about working hard as if they're proud of the fact that they're suffering, as if to say that they're owed something or they're going to get a golden handshake after they die because they suffered at their job, and therefore they're cleaner or more morally virtuous than someone who's had an easier life or had a nicer, happier time. So in Religion of One, we put value on happiness, fulfillment, and meaning in our vocation as a spiritual imperative. In our basics video, I went over some problems that I saw with many of the Eastern religions that are similarly dismissive of what you do. The guru of yoga, Kriyananda, and he was prolific. He put out a lot of material on yoga and yogic practices, which are great. I do these practices, and we'll get into spiritual practices in of themselves a little bit later, because there is no prescription like do this, do that, and you'll be enlightened. It's just to help individuals arrive at their personal alignment. Personal spiritual alignment is what Religion of One is all about. So it's a set of principles, not prescriptions. But in this philosophy that's constructed of principles, we have tenets. And primary tenet is this notion of a vocational alignment, or we could call it personal spiritual vocational alignment, which means that we are put on earth to do work, to exert our power, and to affect the material world, and to reap the benefits of that in the form of money, so that we can enjoy our time here, and so that we feel that what we do for vocation is an expression of ourselves, and it's a system of love. It's an act of love. If you don't love what you do, let me back up. You have to love what you do, because if you don't love what you do, then you're just working and slaving away until you can stop one day. And when you stop one day, you're going to be old. You're not going to have the health. You may not. I'm not going to say you won't, but you won't have the same health and energy level that you did when you were younger. It's a one-day thing. It's a put my dreams on the shelf thing. And all too many people do this, right? I'll just see that 401k grow. And then when I'm retired, then I'll do whatever I want. Well, if you knew what you wanted to do that would fulfill you, why don't you do it now? Why don't you live now? Putting it on the shelf, there are huge problems with that. I'll give you an example. My father in a time before I was born, but I was told he was a genius level pianist and musician. He was, from what I was told by many a relative, he was so good that he was accepted by a world famous pianist to be his personal student. And my dad turned that down because he convinced himself that musicians don't make money and you have to make money first. And I'm going to put that on a shelf and I'm going to come back to piano one day. How long do you think the make money first? And he convinced himself that business ownership is how you make money. Of course, there's many ways. That's just one way. But he convinced himself this is how you make money first. How long do you think that lasted? How about 50 years? More like 60 years of that. And he had a very chaotic, mostly failed business life. He never came back to music. He became completely lost in the nervous because that decision was based entirely on anxiety, which is out of alignment. So Religion of One, once you get into it, is very consistent per person. It's a consistent set of principles that individuals can apply to their own lives. It's not a prescription like you might see, that you might get from a relative of yours or maybe your pastor or rabbi or something, where it says, well, go get a good job. You know, my Jewish mother upbringing would be, what should I do? Doctor, lawyer. Very prescriptive, right? And rooted in anxiety. So if he did the work and did the analysis on himself, the introspective work, that's meditating on it in a rational sense, he would have found out, well, this decision was made out of anxiety, therefore it can produce nothing but anxiety. So one of the problems with applying these blanket level statements to the individual is musicians don't make money. Well, if all the brilliant musicians that we enjoy, their work we enjoy today, believe that, we wouldn't have any music in the world. So the cream has to rise to the top somehow. And that's what this system is here to do for you, is to help you find your source of talent where you can rise to the top in what you need to do. So the first principle here is it is not a choice. How many of us have heard this? You can do whatever you want to do, man. No, you can't. That's not helpful. I can't be okay. Let's say we believe that. This is the Saturday morning cartoon public service announcement thing that children are told all the time. You can do anything you set your mind to. That's an appeal to blank slate theory. So I'm 45 years old. Can I go be an NBA star? No, I don't have talent in that area. It will never happen. So it's comforting on the surface, but fundamentally very damaging because it doesn't take into an account the very specific things that make an individual who they are. A really good parents that really care about their kids, will see how their kid is aligned, their talents, and encourage them on the way. And you will find that most people who are living these dream lives that are very successful artists, musicians, business people at a very young age, you will find most of the time that very positive upbringings that are very fortunate in that way, right? So this is something that is individualistic. It is tuned to you. Nobody could tell you what it is, but you do need to know what you need to do for a living that would be fulfilling to you. And the telltale sign, you've heard this before. Alan Watts used to ask this: what would you do if money were no object? Well, perhaps a better question would be, what would you be fulfilled doing knowing you could never retire? Because there are things you might do where money might be no object. Well, if money were no object, I mean, I'd have a Lamborghini collection. I mean, I'd have a bunch of things. But what would I do with my time? What would I do that would be meaningful for me, where I would really never want to stop? For me, it's this teaching this philosophy of Religion of One. I'll do for the rest of my life until the day I die, till the second before I die. I will do this because that's what's meaningful for me. The highest expression of meaning for me. And the way you find that out is through personal introspection. You want to look at what are all the tools you were born with that culminate. It's like adding up to a big equal sign at the end of it. For me, there's a lot of interests that I have, but I can't do them yet. Like I don't have the training. Like you can see, I've got some musical things. That's a hobby of mine. It's a passion and an interest. But if I died, I would have this regret that I didn't leave my mark on the world with something unique, with some philosophical contribution. So with this, what I found teaching this, I could just do it. I'm rattling off to you. I don't have any plan or even outline I'm working on. It comes very naturally to me. And the things that have appeared in my life that I've been attracted to have shown up to kind of guide me on this course. So that's the way that spiritual alignment works, and that's the way that vocational alignment works as well. And I know it's a major, major existential problem in the modern world. In the modern world, most civilized countries, we don't have to worry about our material sustenance to the point where we think we're going to die or we have to go scrounge for things. Well, once that's covered and you're going up Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, questions like mental well-being and emotional fitness and meaning and ultimately self-actualization start to become of paramount importance, and resolving those existential crises can be just as painful as someone. It's just a different kind of existential pain. When you're at the base level, needing food and water and shelter is a kind of existential pain. When you establish that, and being dismissive of these spiritual needs is not helpful. It's not the right thing to do. And I think it's necessary. So in Religion of One, it is absolutely paramount at a spiritual level, the meaning of your existence, and it is not a matter of choice, really. And I think that's much more comforting. Say you get to choose. Well, gee, thanks. That's the whole problem. I can't choose. I'm having trouble deciding. I'm working this meaningless shit job that I don't like, but I'm having trouble picking something. I'm doing this math equation in my head, like Luke Skywalker going down the trench in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. That's why he puts it's a great metaphor there. He puts the targeting computer away because that represents rationality, figure out. And when Obi-Wan Kenobi speaks to him, that's the slipstream of spiritual alignment. This is feeling it out. This is a trust thing. This is not a rational thing. There's a feeling of rightness. And when you find that, it's monetizable, and you can make that transition very quickly and very easily because it will feel like talent. It will feel like home for you. But unlike the Western religions that prescribe legalism and suffering as value and hard work, whatever that means in a general basis, or Eastern religions that completely dismiss the material will, like just what you do as a matter of fulfillment. Do this instead. Just ignore it. Go meditate. We have meditation in the system, but it's for the purpose of this. It's to get out of your own way so you can know yourself better. Here, Religion of One, it's all about you. It's about doing what's right for you. Probably transcends rationality if you feel that you're in trouble, if you feel you may have done the wrong thing. This is a heart overhead kind of a thing, and there are way more positive emotions than passion. If this, just follow your passion. Well, I'm so sick of this advice, because if you knew what it was, what if you don't feel it yet? What if that could be the whole problem? And then these teachers, a lot of these, I would say gurus, but it's more on the success porn side of things. Like they say, well, just follow your passion. It's like, that's the whole problem. Like if I knew what I was passionate about, I would be doing it. The problem is I can't find the thing that gives me that feeling. So passion isn't the only positive emotion that has value. It could be something that brings you peace. It just feels like home. So me as an example, I'm doing this. I wouldn't say like, I'm passionate about it. Passion kind of implies a resistance that you have to fight against. It's just me, just stream of consciousness. It just feels natural, feels at home, feels at peace, feels easy, feels right. I feel like a lot of synchronicities have led up to this. That's what you're looking for. But I'm hard pressed to find another spiritual system that really values this as and I'm saying it's baked in. It's baked into your soul. You don't get to choose. You got yourself in trouble because of the choosing. You got yourself in trouble because you were born a certain way, and then you got it into your head through your crappy parents or your teachers in school or something in society told you, no, that you should feel guilty about that, and that won't make money doing that. You should be doing this. So it's super irrational, and you should analyze the how your rationality and your thought processes and your ego, because you can ensconce this in the ego through false pride, false happiness, things like that, right? And you should do the introspective work to kind of know, well, where is my mind not really aligned with this, but what do I feel? What are my emotions? Because emotions are more on the level of energy, and energy is the trajectory of your soul as you became to be incarnated in your physical body. Okay. Hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, please. Have a great day.